Nintendo Music has now been out for a year, which is kind of hard to believe. I've been a very active user with using this app. There's a lot of things that is good about it, but a lot of things that really needs a lot of help. And there's a lot of things, there's so much potential. And so the past year, if you look back through all of the songs that they've added, all the soundtracks and everything they've added, it's actually been pretty decent. There's been ones where it's like, oh, like this is such a great soundtrack to add. But then there's other weeks where it's like, oh, like this soundtrack? And I think the biggest flaw with this app is that we are on a drip feed basis with this app. That's not the issue. The issue is that Nintendo is not consistent with this app at all. Let me tell you these events of things that happened. There's been a lot of times where they've added a soundtrack. Wind Waker, for example. They added this very early on into the app, and I kind of understand like not having the HD version. If you don't know, Wind Waker HD soundtrack is redone. Like they redid the soundtrack from the original Wind Waker, and it's an amazing redone soundtrack, and that's the one I'm familiar with. I love Wind Waker. Yeah, it's like, you know, they didn't add HD. It's like, okay, you know, whatever. But it's just the thing is, when they do add it in the future, it would then take up a whole week. And it's like, I don't know if that's really good, you know? And eventually down the line, I think Ocarina of Time, they had that from the beginning. And I think like 6 months later, they added Ocarina of Time 3D soundtrack. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. A whole week. Like there's just so many missed weeks. The thing is, yeah, the soundtrack is completely the same. Completely the same, except one song. And that song is amazing. I love that song. I've used it for my Zeldathon openings. But, oh my god, a whole week? Like, oh my god, it's just... oh my god. But eventually, they actually did release 2 soundtracks at the same time of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, the original, and the remaster on the Switch. And I didn't even know they had different soundtracks. I haven't played the game. That's such a nice like surprise. I think that's amazing. You know, I wish that they would go forward with that in the future, but they didn't. I am a huge fan of Metroid, and I have been waiting a whole year, nearly a whole year, for a new Metroid soundtrack. From the very beginning, they added Metroid 1 and Metroid Prime. That's great. Metroid 1, very iconic, you know, great to have the iconic games on there. And of course, Metroid Prime, such an amazing soundtrack. One of my favorite, like, gaming soundtracks ever. And I'm just waiting here, waiting. When is this next Metroid soundtrack gonna drop? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they'll pick it up, you know, when Prime 4 marketing starts, whenever that will happen. But I'm waiting, and I'm not like an impatient person. I'm a very patient person. But tell me why they add Metroid 2 Return of Samus, and there's like, oh my god. See, the thing is, just take a listen. This soundtrack is great for the game, but this is not a soundtrack that you're gonna be out walking around blasting Area 3 BGM outside. And it's just the thing too, is that they added Return of Samus, but they didn't add the remake Samus Returns. I'm wearing the shirt. That's the remake of the Game Boy game, and I don't understand why they wouldn't then also add, like, oh man, it's like, oh, out of all the Metroid games, like, oh, why Metroid 2? Like, Metroid 2 is great. I love Metroid 2. I've played through it all. It's a great game. But man, like, for a music app, you're adding Return of Samus? Another thing, Nintendo usually will skip a week if there is a holiday in Japan. And it's like, you know what, that's fair, you know, but I don't understand why they cannot just have it where it's automated. What? It doesn't even make sense. But you see, the thing is, when they skip a week, it makes every soundtrack so much more important, even though they're not important. But it makes it to where, oh, they missed a week, what is it gonna be next week? So then you're waiting 2 weeks for a new soundtrack to be added, and then it's like, really, you're adding this? As you can see, there's a lot of missed weeks. Not only are they taking weeks off for holidays, which they could have them automated, and you know, maybe there's something about that, but then there's so many weeks where it's just dropping it again. I mean, Ocarina of Time 3D again, but just the, you know, one song being added is ridiculous. But one thing, and this is something I have not seen anyone else saying about, is I feel like a great reason to have the Nintendo Music app is for Splatoon music. Like, if you're a big fan of Splatoon, they have Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, and Octo expansion, but they're missing like half the soundtrack of Splatoon 3. It's been over a year since Side Order came out. Side Order came out in February last year, and I was thinking in February this year, I'm like, oh, like maybe for the anniversary they'll release Side Order and the rest of Splatoon 3's soundtrack, but no, not at all. It's still missing. And maybe they're saving that opportunity to release before Splatoon Raiders. But the thing is, I don't trust that Nintendo would even do that, because their drops are just feel so random and just inconsistent, and it's just really bad. It's fine adding soundtracks that maybe not a lot of people like, you know, it's good to have, you know, as much of soundtracks you can have on the app, but when it's repeating ones and things like that, it's just terrible. But yeah, there's just so many missing soundtracks. The thing is, one thing I really like about the app is that there are no ads. You can leave the app and the music will still play, and you can turn off your phone. And of course, that's a thing on YouTube Music and Spotify and whatever. But honestly, it's a scam even having that in the first place. I do use YouTube Music a lot. And just having my phone all the time where it just has to be on, like, it's just terrible. It's just a terrible experience. And I feel like that should not even be a paid thing at all. That should just be built in the app. But yeah, even though it's a very basic thing, which music apps should have, but you know, of course you're paying already for this and all that, but it's just so nice, and I feel like it's one of the biggest reasons why I even use the app. But there's so many missing soundtracks that I'll be enjoying, you know, songs from a certain game, certain series, and it's like, oh, like I want to listen to Mario Kart DS. Let me hear that soundtrack. But it's not on the app. So I just have to leave the app, go on YouTube Music, and yeah. I mean, again, Nintendo is not competing with any music platform or whatever. It just kind of sucks. Like, I wish eventually, you know, it'll get there, the catalog will build and everything. But man, some of the features of the app are quite nice. One feature I like about the app is that they have spoiler tagging of certain games. And I think that's great. There's some games I haven't finished or haven't played, and it's nice to have that setting to where you don't get spoiled to like the final boss or whatever. There are different playlists that Nintendo have on the app where it's like final boss playlist and staff credits playlist and stuff like that. So it's great to avoid those. Another feature that I think is nice is extending the tracks of certain songs. The only problem is that it's not on every song, and I don't quite understand why it can't be. There might be some limitation or something that I don't understand. I mean, I don't know anything about music. If the song loops in the game, I don't understand why. I don't know. I mean, you can still just put it on loop if you want to, but it also has the fade out, so I don't know. One of their last like features is that they have these characters, and I feel like this is completely useless. Not completely. I feel like the reason why this exists is mostly for Splatoon, the different bands. Like, it's perfect having it where, you know, the Squid Sisters, Off the Hook, Deep Cut, you know, just listing all the bands. And then for other games, there's like certain characters, and it just, there's some that are just, why would you listen to this? Like, it just, it doesn't make any sense to me, and it feels like so many resources are going into this, and you know, it's not that much to do to make these playlists, but it just feels so like pointless. And I get it for like maybe some, like Cass, for example. Cass is a great one, but you know, others where it's just like, huh? But I feel like one feature that should be there and is a basic to be there is crediting the artists. This was a big thing when the app first came out, and not a lot of people have been really saying about it anymore, but I think it's important to credit the artists. And Nintendo, for some reason, just, I don't know, they want to hide away the faces of people who work on the game unless it's on the literal credits. And I think it's terrible. A lot of people have been saying about like, oh, the artists are missing, but the worst thing, if you know Tataka's song, which I'll play here. I imagine you've heard that. It's in a lot of different games. It's a song that he always hides in a lot of different soundtracks that he does. And oh man, it just, in Luigi's Mansion soundtrack, which I absolutely love, if you wait, I think about 3 minutes on the training controls menu, like it's a repeating beat, and then after 3 minutes Totaka's song plays, and yo, it is the most fire version of it. It is so, it's like, it's so great. And they cut it out in the song on Nintendo Music. They cut it out. They have it where it skips to his part and it fades out. What? I feel like this is even worse than not even crediting the artist, because you are literally removing their part of their special part of the song. What? Why are you doing that? And it doesn't make any sense to me, because they literally like have this song in Animal Crossing on the app. It's just ridiculous. They even have it on Mario Paint, don't they? Yo, I'm looking this up right now. They literally do. They literally do. This is his first one. Oh my god. Huh? How does that make any sense? But that to me, like, especially since that is one of my favorite soundtracks, like it's just such a funky, weird soundtrack, and I love that part of the song, and it's like, oh man, like, are you kidding? What? So I have a list here of things I would like for Nintendo Music to do in the future, and there's something that Nintendo could do this year for the app, and I'm really interested if they will. And that is Nintendo Music recaps. I feel like this would be such a cool thing. I would love to see what my most played songs are, most played soundtrack, you know, most played system, which I think would be a really cool, like, unique thing. And they don't even need to have this on the app. They could just put it in their Nintendo Switch recaps that they do every year. Another thing that Nintendo really needs to fix is having it where weekly drops are consistent, not skipping weeks. Nintendo needs to be consistent with the holiday weeks and the weeks where they add a game, and then months later they add, you know, either the second half of the game soundtrack, or, you know, like a different version of it, and it's like, just put it in one day. That's all you gotta do. That's it. Another thing is Nintendo can use this app for marketing. They could release the week of a game coming out, such as Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, that it's coming out, and then they release like Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3, like leading up or something. Like, I don't mean not like weeks and weeks, because yo, I remember for the 40th anniversary of Mario, and it was just Mario soundtrack after Mario soundtrack after Mario soundtrack, and I love Mario soundtracks, like, they're amazing, but it's like, yo, I want something more diverse, I want something different, you know? But something where it leads up to the hype of a release or something, and also having a game soundtrack the week of an anniversary. You know, next year is going to be the 40th anniversary of the Zelda series, and there's going to be a lot of Mario stuff during that time. It's in February 21st, but there's, yeah, a whole bunch of Mario stuff going on around that time. But it would be so nice if they could celebrate the Zelda series in some way. There will probably be like a teaser or something for the Zelda movie, but release Twilight Princess. Like, I feel like that is like the perfect game to release, like, around the anniversary. Like, oh my god, like, if, oh, so many things with this app, like, oh man. Another thing is when they drop a game on the NSO, the Nintendo Classics, such as Chibi Robo, which came out a couple months ago. And a perfect thing would be to add the soundtrack at the same time. They did that for Mario Paint. And I feel like that was so great, because when else are you gonna release Mario Paint? You know, when else are you gonna release Chibi Robo? Like, are they saving this for like a little bump in the algorithm to be like, oh, Chibi Robo, like, huh? Like, just add it in the same day. Or not even that, because the games usually are released on Wednesday, to release the soundtrack on Monday, which they normally do, the soundtracks. So then it's like leading up, it's like, oh, like this song, like I remember this song. Or if you haven't even played the game, it's like, oh, like this song like sounds pretty good. Like, I look forward to playing this game when it comes out. The last thing that Nintendo needs to do, and I've seen a lot of people say this, adding Mario Kart World's soundtrack. Yo, I was making dinner the other day, literally last night, and yo, the Mario Kart World soundtrack came on. Oh my god, I was making faces. Yo, I was like this. I was like, the soundtrack is absolutely insane. And if they were to add Mario Kart World soundtrack, and I hope they do before the Game Awards this year, because yo, this soundtrack is immaculate. Like, oh my goodness, my ears were blessed when I was listening to it yesterday. That soundtrack has nearly 400 songs. Like, there's no other soundtrack to even listen to on the app, to be honest. Like, it's so good. It's perfect for playing songs in the car. Like, you're good. You know, you add Mario Kart World, you won. Nintendo, you won. That's it, you know? And, you know, it'll be a month later and then I'll be like, all right, where's this Metroid soundtrack? Where's Xenoblade? I don't know about Xenoblade being added though, but that would be so sick if they added that. The last thing I'm gonna do for this video is a rapid fire like wish list of soundtracks I would love to be added that might or might never happen. I just pulled up Nintendo's series and stuff, so it's not everything, but it's ones that I would really like to see. Wild World and City Folk, Mario Kart World, but when that gets added, yo, Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart DS, please. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, or maybe Donkey Kong 64. Maybe Diddy Kong Racing, I don't know. Super Metroid, I would love that. Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and also Pokemon Snap. Splatoon Side Order and the rest of Splatoon's soundtrack, probably around Raiders, I hope. Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess. Wii Fit, Wii Sports Resort, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and the original. They gotta add both. Chibi Robo, Mother 3, Kid Icarus Uprising, Tomodachi Life, and Rhythm Heaven Fever. This app has just so much potential. No matter what, I'm still gonna be using the app, and I'm still gonna be there for their weekly drops. Yeah, I'm gonna continue using it. I hope for it to only improve over time. If you're watching this in the future and one of the soundtracks I said got added, yo, I'm probably super happy. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'm Piper, and I'll see you in the next one.